Guys, I got sunburnt today. I don't know if you guys can see it on camera, but I got sunburnt today. Hey peeps, how are we? Guys, let me know if the comments are working, etc. Please, thank you. Don't put it on, guys. Guys, use the comments to talk to me. Otherwise, once this protest starts, I will not be able to. The signal is shocking, I think.
Where did your kit?
Yeah, so the signal will be in and out tonight because it's always bad around here. Kind of staying here for a bit. This is the weekly Palestine protest. So it is. When mods start coming in, I will take it. I'll take the comments. I'll have to remove. Once mods come in, guys, I'll have to remove comments off my end. Because I won't be able to look at them. We haven't done this one in a while. Good, Darren's in now. Hi Darren. Darren, this won't be a risky one tonight, so it will be. And I'm on my own as well tonight. Going back on my face. I have pressed nothing. So I'm trying to get a picture of something as well, of somebody. Oh. So I'm trying to get a picture of somebody. Or somebody. Actually, I might do it on this side actually. I do EV issue, they come up to me. I'm just waiting for somebody to film. Thank you, Lisa. Lisa, did you put that in or did I? I can't remember.
Absolutely, there's a lot of success. Yeah, we need to remember that. There's a lot of success that we're trying to have from some of our in there are giving you're Alex as well. Oh, I'm Ben. Yeah, I'm not asking for that. I'm pretty self-centered.
Looks, guys, I'll be fine tonight. The 2 parallels know me anyway. Okay. It's fine, you can keep it in, Lisa, it's fine.
Testing.
Hey, we gotta turn right.
Free, free. Free, free.
Palestine!
Free, free.
Palestine!
Free, free. From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free!
From the sea to the river.
Palestine will live forever!
From the sea to the river. 4, 6, 7, 8.
Israelis are terrorists!
1, 2, 3, 4. 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Terrorist state!
Israel is the
Terrorist state!
Israel is the
Terrorist state!
from the belly of the beast. Zionism, no! The state of Israel must go! Judaism, yes! Zionism, no! The state of Israel has to go! Judaism, yes! Zionism, no! The state of Israel has to go! 1, 2, 3, 4.
Occupation no more!
5, 6, 7, 8.
Israel is a terrorist state!
1, 2, 3, 4.
Zionism no more!
5, 6, 7, 8. They're not even focusing on their protests anymore. They're basically on
1, 2, 3, 4!
Zionism no more. 5, 6, 7, 8.
We are the International Jewish Anti-Zionist Network, and we are here because this is over the 12th time since the Met Police has banned us from peacefully protesting outside of Swiss Cottage, where the Israeli ambassador Hoteveli lives. For the past 20 months, as the Israeli government has bombed every single hospital, every single university, every single house in Gaza, we, IJAN, along with the Women of Color and the Global Women's Strike, have been here, peacefully protesting what is going on in Gaza, the genocide that is going on, that the UK government and the Met Police is complicit in. Shame! Ambassador Hoteveli is on record stating that there is is no such thing as the Palestinian people, and there is no humanitarian crisis, or we say genocide, in Gaza, and that she could even imagine 600,000 Palestinian deaths. We say, shame on her! Shame on her! Shame on her! Shame on her! Now the Met Police has banned the oppressor.
Free Palestine!
Decolonize!
Decolonize!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Now, before we get the picket started, I just wanted to remind folks a little bit of the rules of our picket. We do not tolerate any racism, homophobia, Islamophobia, transphobia, anti-Semitism. I do not interact with any of the Zionists. If you see them recording, just ignore them because they want to antagonize us. They want to terrorize us. And if they're giving you a problem, there's some people here in yellow vests. Those are our stewards. Please let them know. We also do not talk to the police. Am I missing any of the rules of the picket?
That's pretty good.
Yeah, okay. I think our first speaker tonight is going to be Ben. Where is Ben? Yeah, do you want to grab it? Thank you so much, Ben. Ben has a couple updates for us.
Some good news, in fact, this week on Tuesday, I believe, the government have finally conceded that we have the right to protest. A bit of history. 2 years ago, the Tory government decided to change the definition of what is a protest from serious disruption to minor disruption. That means that somebody could just stand up somewhere and be a bit of an annoyance, and the police will have the power to arrest them and charge them. That has been challenged over the time. At the time, the Labour Party was against these changes, but once they got into power, they did nothing. They kept the changing, and in fact, they tried in court to continue to have this new power for the police. So it's been challenged in court and it became illegal. That means that everybody, and we're talking hundreds of people, hundreds of protesters who have been charged and arrested over the last 2 years under these regulations, their cases should be reviewed, and this should to them. Okay, so that's another battle that we have to continue about it. And at the same time, we heard this week that Corbyn and MacDonald, the two MPs, who've been questioned by the police. You may remember in January there was a massive offensive, a joint offensive by the Zionists and the police to try to stop the national march. Okay, they made it a static march, and they even, attacked the main organizer and did all kind of baseless arrests. Corbyn and MacDonald have found out this week that the police is not taking any action, so our pressure on them have succeeded. And the same is true with the chair of the Friends of Al-Aqsa, Ismail Patel, who has been charged with breaching Section 14. And all these charges against him, we found out this week also, have been dropped. Okay? So fighting works, struggling works, campaigning works. Okay? So we're not going to stop. We're going to continue to campaign. As Kneecap said, we will not be silenced. Okay? 1, we are the people. 2, we won't be silenced. 3, stop the bombing now. 1, we are the people. 2, we won't be silenced. 3, stop the bombing now.
Thank you so much, Ben. And thank you for that good leeway into Kneecap. I was just going to talk about Kneecap. Was anybody else there? Free McCall! Woo! I see a couple folks from our organization that were there. Is anybody else at the Wednesday Kneecap event? Woo! If you want, I'll give you a little recap. So this Wednesday, hundreds of people showed up at the Westminster's Magistrates Court to support Makara, or Leah Mohani, from Kneecap, who is charged with terrorism for speaking out on Palestine. on a trumped-up charge on terrorism.
Shame.
And it's a real shame, it's a real thing that we're in front of the Met Police station to call them out, because the Met Police and the UK government, in midst of a almost nearly 2-year-long genocide, decided to charge Kneecap, an Irish rapper band group, with terrorism for speaking out when the real terrorists are standing right here. The real terrorists are Keir Starmer and David Lammy and everybody in the Israeli government. And shame on them, they have blood on their hands. Shame!
Shame!
Keir Starmer, you can't hide!
We charge you with genocide!
David Lammy, you can't hide!
We charge you with genocide!
Netanyahu, you can't hide!
We charge you with genocide.
Anyways, we were there for a couple hours supporting Makara and Kneecap, and quick update, August 20th is when they'll be back at the courts. I think this was just a preliminary court case to charge them. Really funny, they couldn't, Makara, you know, they're an Irish group, and they rap in Irish, that's their thing. And they couldn't find them an Irish translator because they wanted it to be all in Irish, and the court couldn't find it, and DJ Bravo, who got his start being a teacher in Belfast, an Irish teacher, was sitting there, and the whole court was laughing because he's a translator, and in London, of all places, they couldn't find an Irish translator. So real shame on the court system.
Shame!
But yeah, I'm also Irish, and I just want to say that the reason why Irish people support Palestine is because of our own colonial history and genocide in Ireland that was caused only by the English. Kneecap is the only artist that's been brave enough to take a stand against this genocide. And they're facing repercussions by the UK government, but it's really funny because they're actually now being one of the top streamers on Spotify in the US ever since they've been banned, ever since this terrorism charge. So all of their concerts have been sold out. They're on a tour. It's been great press for them. They think it's been terrible, charging with terrorism, but it's been a great press for them. So free Makara and free Palestine!
Free Makara! Free Makara! Free Makara! Free Makara!
Our next speaker is going to be Sam. Yeah, or did Ben already go? Give us a whole spiel.
Thank you for that report of the Kneecap. I just wanted to say how fantastically uplifting it was. Kneecap they are like black Irish people. That's their whole persona, which is fantastic. The Irish community,
Songs are not in
the
Irish.
Network for Palestine, set up a stage right in front of the court door. So they had musicians, they had poets, they had speakers the whole morning. The place was rammed. When Kneecap arrived, there was a rush. People went right inside the court. And the court security looked completely horrified. They had not planned for any of this to happen. Anyway, it was fantastic. One of the Kneecap members actually went in with his mask on, which was fabulous. Then they went upstairs. It's all glass, so on every floor they'd stop and cheer the crowd. And the crowd would be all cheering them on. It was absolutely wonderful.
If they're filming
And you
inside,
really
they would
felt
be
the
arrested.
power of the Irish
They're filming in a
movement.
court, they're
People's
being
struggle was really there for all of us.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Yes,
but they're being pitched out on social media
Oh yes, there was
inside
a
the
ban.
court.
They had a ban circulating the court, and it said more blacks, more Irish, more dogs, more child. And they had got a really brilliant movement team of lawyers, including we saw Gareth Pierce was in court, and she's on some of the most fantastic experiences. And it's possible that the whole thing is out of time. So we'll see what happens.
At least I'm not talking to him, it's fine.
We were really lifted up, and I should say that the Irish community really did us proud. They had stewards, they had liveliness, the speakers were fabulous. It was a great day, and it was really wonderful to be there.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Yeah, shout out Irish for Palestine for putting that action on. And yeah, there's a good link that in their movie they talked about Kneecap, about the reason why that they are hip hop band and the reason why they use rap music is because they saw the effect in the U.S. of Black Americans using, hip hop for their struggle movement, and that's why they are a hip hop movement, because they were inspired by Black Americans in the U.S. So look out, Irish for Palestine on social media. August 20th is their court case. Carol, did you want to give a couple words? Just very, yeah.
Don't engage with the Zionists!
Okay, I was rather amused to hear they couldn't find an Irish speaker, because actually I came with one. My friend Jim McIntyre is an Irish speaker. I'm sure you can. What I wanted to say is, just like Kneecap, kind of their arrest is unjust and terrible, and we must fight and fight until they get released. Sometimes bad things turn into a good thing. A couple of years ago, I was expelled from my trade union. Now, the rights and wrongs are up to each individual to decide. But I was expelled, and I was very, very upset. I was very hurt. And somebody said to me, this could turn out to be a good thing. And in a way, it has. Because I have a few hours each week to do my best for Palestine. And I always think any minute, any second, I'm talking about Palestine, I'm marching for Palestine, I'm doing anything for Palestine. It's time well spent. Now I have in my head a date that is the 12th of September next year, and I hope I have a reason why I choose that, and I won't share it with you, but I hope by the 12th of September next year, Palestine will free Palestine, decolonize, and the genocide.
Zionism, no! The state of Israel has to go! Judaism, yes! Zionism, no! The state of Israel has to go! Thank you everyone for coming this week. The Met Police continue to criminalize anti-Zionism in their showing of instability and of the fact that they are insecure about the fact that Zionism is falling. It is in a terminal crisis, and it is showing that in the way that it responds to world events. Obviously, the news of what's happening in Iran is emblematic of how much the ideology is breaking down, that they are in a flailing exercise. And that exercise is going to cause untold death for thousands of people until Zionism is over, because it's an expansionist colonial identity. And IJAN stands with the Palestinians steadfastly against Zionism. This week there was a by the London Legal Support Trust, and it's an event that is complicated because obviously in this country we have a crisis in legal aid where people who do social justice work as lawyers are not being remunerated properly, and scope for legal aid is massive. Legal aid providers rely on grant funding and have to rely on grant funding from charitable trusts, which is not ideal. And the consequences of that mean that where we do receive that grant funding, we have to make sure that invited several. So at the London Legal Walk, what happens is firms like big corporate firms and chambers and smaller social justice workplaces come together and go on a walk and try to raise money for social justice causes and broadly speaking pro bono and legal aid providers. And the lawyers who stood for social justice got together and wrote a letter to the London Legal Support Trust demanding that those who were on the walk who were supporting genocide or who were complicit in investments for genocide had absolutely no place on the walk, and we would not walk with them, not 1 second. And this included Canon, who was one of their sponsors, and Canon are responsible for surveillance equipment that arms the IOF. And we also demanded that Canon disaffiliate from it, and that they don't accept the sponsorship. If I'm right, about 120 lawyers signed this letter. In response to that, the London Legal Support Trust affirmed absolutely everything in the letter by writing to all of those people that we called out for their complicity and perpetration of genocide and apartheid, and telling them not to participate in the walk, and they disaffiliated from Canon's sponsorship. So wherever we stand with the Palestinians, and we will not accept money covered in blood, and we will not let those who are complicit in apartheid and genocide wash their identities with claiming they're supporting pro bono and social justice legal causes whilst supporting apartheid and genocide in Palestine. Thank you.
Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! End the genocide! End the genocide! Free, free Palestine! Free Palestine! From the river to the sea! Palestine will be free! From the river to the sea! Palestine will be free! From the sea to the river! Palestine will be forever!
Lisa, I am fine.
Thank you so much, Oscar, for that update. I'm going to pass the mic over to Sam to give us some updates about a conference he went to, anti-Zionist conference, so should be interesting.
First, I want to say I'm really glad to have Oscar back. He deported himself to China for a while. But he's back here, which we're very glad about. Yeah, conference in Vienna. It was billed as the first Jewish anti-Zionist conference in the world. And I am delighted to say that there were 500 people in attendance, the vast majority of who were anti-Zionist Jews. And literally from all over the world. There were people from South America. There was even a person from Indonesia. There was somebody from British Columbia, which is way over there on the other side. And there were a few other people from Canada. And there were several people from different parts of North America as well. And there were people, I think, literally from every country in Europe. It was the beginning of something in a really important way. And it was very careful to be led by Palestinians in a number of different senses, but most importantly, they had Palestinian speakers, including one who was really impactful, a guy named Ramzi Baroud, who is from Gaza and has lost over 100 members of his family. And he spoke on a couple of different occasions and made it absolutely clear that there was no way of defeating the people of Gaza. No way at all. They weren't going anywhere, they weren't giving up, and they were going to be there when Zionism falls. There was also Ilan Pappé, internationally famous and was very good in saying that the future, what is to happen in the Middle East, is not a question for Jews to decide. It's a question for Palestinians with the support of anti-Zionist Jews to decide what happens as we tear down Zionism everywhere. Gadakami, Stephen Campos, who we know well in this country, and of course, as always, spoke extremely well. Tony Greenstein, Reuven, I can't remember his last name now, but he's important. He's an important person. He's important apart from anything else because he looks like the spitting image of Einstein. One of the fun things for me at the conference was you saw all the different, with that many Jews in one room, right? You actually saw all the Jewish types that you've known all your life, right? And Einstein is definitely one of those. Anyway, what's important about Reuven is that he was the founder of a group called the Black Panthers in Israel during the 60s. And I don't know if some people I know here are old enough to remember the Black Panthers. They took their name, of course, from the U.S. Black Panthers, and they're Mizrahi Jews. And what that means is they're from North Africa and the Middle East. And they had a case against Zionism. And Reuven spoke extremely well about that case. Among other things, he said, because at the time when he founded the Black Panthers, Golda Meir was the prime minister. And they apparently met up at one point. And Golda Meir said, how can you take your name from those anti-Semitic people in the United States? And Reuven's response was, they never did anything to me. They never did anything to me. But you and the other Ashkenazis, let me tell you what you did to me. And let me tell you a little bit about what he said. He said that thousands and thousands of Mizrahi children were taken away from the Mizrahi and given to Ashkenazi Jews who, because of the concentration camps, had gotten a little old to have children. They were given away, and all the records of that have been destroyed, so there's no way of tracking down the children. That's right, criminal. And of course it goes without saying that a large number of the Mizrahi Jews were people of color. Right. That's who they were.
Step away from me.
Very famous,
step away from me.
Or infamous, depending
step
on
away
how you
from
want
me.
to look at it. Another very famous incident where they decided that all the children who had come from North Africa and the Middle East were subject to ringworm, that they had ringworm. And that they decided the way of dealing with ringworm was the same way that in the United States they dealt with ringworm for black people.
No, she probably will be in London tomorrow, Lisa.
Them. They irradiated
it's a national one in London tomorrow.
Of Mizrahi children, and many of them died from the radiation. And it wasn't the Black Panthers in the United States that did that to the Mizrahi. It was the Ashkenazi Jews who founded the state of Israel. And the Zionism which they had, and which was racist in its conception against Arabs and also against Mizrahis. We had a woman there from South Africa, and she said, the white South African government. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? You know, the Israelis always refuse to say whether they have nuclear weapons. Everybody knows they do. But they gave it to the racist apartheid regime in South Africa. One apartheid regime holding hands with another apartheid regime. But even worse than that, I don't know how many people remember now. Under white South Africa.
If there's another protest, nothing to do with this, but any other protest, I just go from one protest to another.
And, you know, the South Africans, I mean, it was kind of a joke in a certain sense.
Yeah, if there's,
It's a national one, starting at Russell Square at 12 p.m. with a counter.
Oh, was that tomorrow? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah.
So basically, they start at Russell Square at 12.
And that's when they're walking down here this time.
Yeah. So they will end up on Whitehall, Palestine, Grill, and they will pass in their box. Just stay out.
I just want to find a way where I'm not standing with one crowd or not standing with another. I just want to stand on my own but be able to see what's going on. I want to stand on my own but be able to see what's going on.
So how I'm basically going. So I know people from the counter.
Yeah.
So I got permission from them to go into their area.
Oh, so just asking.
There were a number of horror stories that were told.
Rules online.
So if you
Give him his credit.
Twitter.
Tony Greenstein.
Then look at the Met's Twitter.
and it will tell you what they've
And Rabbi Weiss in the United States
Yeah.
So it's to make sure,
refused
so the
to
big
take
one
Jews before the second.
Yeah, and also if a police ask you to move, just move, or they'll drag you off.
No worries.
I
Take
made
care.
the case
Yeah,
because
totally.
it was the next day after the huge
See you tomorrow, yeah?
in the United States where 5 million people came out into the streets
it's still saying he's a
against
He's not
racist,
too bad then.
apartheid-loving,
I wasn't sure either.
anti-Semitic,
talking to
Zionist Trump.
Yeah.
5 million people. You know, in the state of Florida, there were 175 different demonstrations in Trump's hometown. They tried to
also,
march on
Vicky.
Mar-a-Lago.
I want them is coming tomorrow from Leeds.
Who's coming from Leeds?
Her name is Shabnam. I can't remember her surname. She's one person threatening to kill Palestinians tomorrow.
That's right.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Be anti-Zionist.
Trial wreck. I get her.
Let some find a police officer
There will be,
I will. Yeah.
and they will be
Yeah.
We'll be busy
There
doing
will be
I know. I've
riots.
just thought I'd point. I thought I'd tell you now.
One of the things that came out of it is that on Rosh
You probably get a
Hashanah
picture
this
of
year,
Simon tomorrow anyway.
Yeah,
all the different countries will hold protests.
He's not out tomorrow, is he? He's
for a
based
day
inside.
of anti-Zionism,
Yeah.
which will be
He's done all of them, isn't he? So
year zero
I tried begging him to do it tomorrow.
I'll tell him
anti-Zionism.
you said hi.
I'll message him in the morning anyway and find out
Because Rosh Hashanah, for
what's the
everybody
best
who doesn't know,
area for me to
is the
be.
new
I
year.
don't know what the
And this will be
Well, seemingly the counter area has changed.
September 22nd.
Yeah, and I know
This
sometimes
year.
it's last minute.
Thank you.
They changed today. Got originally the counter what meant to be on the north side of Waterloo Bridge, but now.
And thank you so much for uplifting that message. Maybe that they don't offer, sometimes they like to keep it.
Last Saturday.
Yeah.
Members of Palestine Action are some of the bravest of our comrades who are willing to take into their own hands the material, the arms, the physical apparatus of genocide, and to destroy it and to risk their personal terrorists was just a route in be chilling, because the prescription regime is at means for what they're going to do to the criteria for prescription and how that will affect all of us. Following Palestine Action, tell us about that, because it's really important.
Thank you very much. This is where we hear the real news. But you can trust what's being said on this picket, because we pay attention, and it's our lives and our history that's being made. That is a direct result of the fantastic actions that they have been taking to shut down Elbit, to disrupt the weapons manufacturers, and to make sure that a whole set of armaments do not get to Israel. Fantastic in doing that, and it culminated today, and they even made, which is extraordinary, they even made Radio 4's Today program, which I normally spit blood if I have to listen to, but hearing that they had gotten into RAF Rise Norton, one of the most protected airfields and RAF bases. They had sprayed red paint into 2 military planes, thereby disabling them. Not only had they done that, they had gotten away scot-free on e-scooters. What that tells us is that everything they provide for us by the way of technology, we have a way of using against them. And we use it in a more creative and a more compassionate and a more humane way, because we are driven to protect the Palestinian people. We are not giving up, they haven't given up. We're not going to give up celebrating Pal Action and its fantastic boycott movement, because they are part of that. And that boycott movement, Reiki, oh, Musk, I'll do that, you can do that in a minute. Because the other thing that's happened, right, is that some of the Just Stop Oil people walked free today.
Guys, have you guys spotted Shabnam?
Yeah, I don't know whether you remember. Yes, we were there. They were given 9 months suspended sentence, but they are put into prison in the first place. So, a couple of other things to celebrate. Over 200,000 people have signed nearly 200,000 people have signed the petition to expel Hotbelly.
Lisa, have you spotted Shabnam?
The most hated ambassador on the planet. So keep signing and keep circulating. And finally, we have to claim another victory, which is not being portrayed as one, and that is the mass exodus from Israel.
Okay.
And the refusal of young people to stay and serve in the IOF. Massive numbers, but of course
So,
we
I
won't
thought
be
my
told
coach
the
wasn't
truth
here.
about those numbers, because that's not the propaganda they want us to do. But the thing is, if we hadn't been on the street in our thousands and in our millions, imagine what would have happened. What we have done is pushed and pushed every single institution into having to deal with us, and into having to recognize that the world mass movement is on the side of the Palestinian people and will not be giving up anytime soon. And as many have said, it is Zionism that will fall before we do.
Speaking of Pal Action, I have a chant. Say it after me. Say it clear, say it loud. Say it clear, say it loud. Pal Action, you make us proud. Pal Action, you make us proud. Say it clear, say it loud. Say it clear, say it loud. Pal Action, you make us proud. Pal Action, you make us proud. When Palestine is under attack, what do we do? 7 to Clark Street at St. Thomas Hospital. If you didn't know, Allah, who's been a political prisoner of Egypt for literally just posting on Facebook in dissent of the president, of the current dictator in Egypt, has been in prison for over 10 years in Egypt, even though he's Egyptian, but he's also a British citizen. And the British government has done nothing. Shame on the British government. He's served his 10 years, but they've been over here has been, along with others, organizing a daily vigil for her. So I'm going to give the floor to her to speak a little bit about it and give us updates.
Thank you, Lindsay. Yes, myself and Georgie, my comrade, we've been organising vigils for the last 3 weeks. It's now 3 weeks since she was hospitalised. We didn't think she would make it through the first weekend, frankly. The family were suggesting we start the vigil on the Monday. We thought, no, we need to start it next day. And since then, we've been there every night, holding space for the family. The family have joined us on many nights. Many of Layla and Allah's friends. We've had Egyptians join us. We've had Arabs join us. We've had a whole broad group of people joining us from so many backgrounds who've heard about this incredible story, this incredible woman. And shamefully, our Foreign Secretary and our Prime Minister are being too distracted by this drive to war. This drive
Don't need to look at the camera now, stop.
In the Middle East, as if they haven't killed enough of us. They haven't killed enough of us in the Middle East. So they want to keep going, and they want more regime change and more blood and more destruction. Instead of saving lives, instead of helping people to get to countries by getting out of the Middle East. Get out of the Middle East, please. For 100 days, 110 days and 264 days respectively. And their pleas for the UK government to help them get Allah released have been met with stony silence because they're, as I said, they're distracted.
No, I don't have to move. You're not telling me what to do. You're not telling me what to do.
Shame!
I can film. I can film.
If you can spare half an hour or so, even just come down or let people know that this memorial is taking place, this vigil is taking place every night.
No, it's not going to be a memorial. We will not let that happen. Just so people know, so it's just down there, then you just walk down the steps. If there's any people who have mobility issues walking down the stairs, there's a different way around and you can go under the bridge. But we do hope to see as many people there as possible. We have heard from the family and actually from Dr. Elizabeth herself. So she feels us, she gathers strength every day from the people who were there. And she's an incredible woman. I had the immense fortune to meet her. And it is a cause that is well worth supporting. So
That's good arranged.
Have as many people there as possible. And if you can't make it, we are still there from 7 to 9 p.m. every day. Tell your friends, tell your family, raise the profile of Allah's case before his mother unfortunately passed away. Because every day that we have...
I move up here, he follows me. Cool. I move, he follows. The guy in the steward. Be moving and he been following me ever I go.
He's had his childhood taken away from him, and he said recently, I've missed out on my son's childhood. I do not want to miss out on his adolescence, and we will not stop until we see him reunited. So thank you very much, everyone.
This is a mother fighting for her child, like all mothers fight for their children. So please come and support her. Thank you. I'll just do one chant. Free Allah! Free Allah! Save Layla!
Save Layla!
Free Allah!
Free Allah!
Save Layla!
Save Layla!
And that marks another year out of the 10-year sentence that Allah had that he couldn't be with his son. We talked about this, last week, but we would just want to say we honor all political prisoners everywhere. Allah, but also Mahmoud Khalil, all the political fathers in the U.S. that have been deported by ICE. No one is illegal on stolen land. No one should be arrested for speaking out for what's right. Free all the fathers. Free all the fathers. Free the fathers. And now I just want to call on John because he has some updates on us in terms of the medical field that's been organizing around Palestine.
Thanks, Lindsay. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. As usual, our weekly picket. What week is it? 86? 86 weeks. And without your support, it wouldn't happen. And without the support of our dear sisters from Women of Color in the Global Women's Strike, it also wouldn't happen. So thank you, thank you. Okay, comrades, so on Monday is the start of the BMA annual conference up in Liverpool. Very encouraging. The whole mood has shifted from medical colleges and medical institutions staying completely what's happening in Palestine. They have done their level best to squirm out of saying anything meaningful, and have put out both siding statements and fence-sitting statements. But the mood is changing. There's been a definite shift. And I think what's done it is the mass starvation going on in Gaza. It seems somehow that seeing pictures, I saw them over there, yeah, they're over there, of starving children somehow makes them move. Whereas pictures and videos of two pieces somehow pro-Zionist, pro-genocide, pro-opened by 3 members of Physicians for Human Rights Israel, which was headed, and this was in the New York Review of Books, the shame of Israeli medicine. And it really is shameful. Shame. And they also put, give me a second, which says, for the past 20 months we have watched with deep dismay as the Israeli medical establishment continues its ongoing moral failures. History teaches us that such sustained and brutal associations, the nurses, have been totally silent while their Palestinian colleagues have been murdered in cold blood, abducted and tortured, sometimes to death. And then they go on and say, in times marked by hatred and violence, it has always been the role of medical professionals to uphold humanity, compassion, and the core tenets of medical ethics. It is difficult to escape the conclusion that the IMA, the Israeli Medical Association, has grievously failed in its duty to uphold medical ethics. It could have done a whole lot of things like speak out against all the war crimes, challenge what their governments and their militaries are doing, but no, they haven't. Not only have they remained silent, they are complicit and participate. We know Israeli doctors have participated in torture. We know they are deployed to centers like Sede Teman, that starvation and torture center. Instead, they have, as I say, participated. They've actively embraced official state narratives, placing sole blame for the destruction of Gaza's healthcare system, mass killings, and forced starvation and displacement. Encouraged us. We have a group of us working for the BMA conference next week to put forward a whole range of motions condemning Israel for what it's doing, condemning the IMA, calling for the severing of ties between the BMA and the IMA, for getting the IMA kicked out of the World Medical Association. Now, we're not sure whether they're going to pass. We've got to convince our colleagues, obviously. But doctors are not sure, you know.
Vicky, if Palestine Action gets confirmed as a terrorist group, there's nothing else to mention them.
They too are human, and they too are moved.
Okay, well, basically mentioning them, they basically telling their story.
If you're talking about a conversation,
no.
So we are very
like what they do.
Next week I will give you an update of how we did. And you know, we're very hopeful that it's going to be successful. Palestine will be the issue at this point.
Support for ISIS,
or Hamas,
Thanks,
comrades, and thanks again for
just talking about it. is fine, and as long as you're not saying they're really good, what they've done is great, we should all do that.
That bit was what they would do.
I don't like seeing everything in my car.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean.
I understand. Hopefully we'll get to that.
It pretty much has been confirmed on Sky News that it has been.
It hasn't gone through yet.
Has it not gone through yet?
No, she's just right. So what they do is they have to propose something, then they write a report, and then it goes through voting. So it's a little bit of a way.
Okay, got Sky News has that on there.
Yeah, but I've read the
Alright then.
article.
I haven't read it yet. I've just been sent
It
it.
doesn't say it's happened yet. It's
Okay. Starting it. Hopefully they do
Over
that.
4 million people.
I'm trying not to show any sizes, but
Clear estimate because it was so
but
many
from what I
people.
have seen on their social media,
What we do know is over 2,000 locations spread in the U.S. And it was the biggest protest, one day protest in the U.S. history. And that was
no, but that's how I find out about all the protests. It's through the social media. Or like, for example, all that march they had last weekend. You guys didn't know about it until I told Simon.
Against Trump, against, him.
But anything I find out about, I send it. What are you looking for?
Yeah, so what she's saying is planning to prescribe.
Okay.
So she's just saying
It's not happening yet. Alright, that's fine
for
then.
now they're not.
Also, not sure if people saw the pictures of the military
was to come
protest.
to
It was really
Hopefully it
embarrassing.
does.
It was
That was
really
to happen, then
not well received.
and it became
Low
prescribed, that would be
turnouts.
different.
As I said, it's very expensive.
I don't
to
lift
read
them, no.
the army marching. They're out of order.
I know police raisins did the first week.
Yeah, sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. It just depends. Just because people are protesting doesn't mean we're always
Yeah, I know what you mean, yeah.
And Trump actually, there's been a leaked video of Trump and Keir Starmer talking
Yeah.
at that summit in Canada. He says to Keir Starmer, "Oh, I like praising."
You're based at Simon's offices, no?
I wish that people
No.
looked at me like they look at him. I wish they marched like that. So
Nice.
it's really embarrassing turnout. But yeah, we are seeing in the U.S.
I'm not going to stay in a hotel tonight down near us. So you have
They're
to
still protesting every single day.
I made it, man. I know it's payday,
But the people in the U.S. are
This is
fighting back.
payday.
So that's a huge win.
Let's talk about dinner.
From Mexico to Palestine, these border walls have got to go! From to Palestine, these border walls have got to go! Thank you so much. So I just want to report on that really briefly. I'm going to turn it over to Phil from Plymouth to report on some stuff.
Thank you. Every time I've got different names, right? Sorry, so what I wanted to say was the
McDonald's.
to do with the Kneecap event on Wednesday, which was a phenomenal turnout. There were hundreds around that court, and I had the privilege to run into Frank McGuinness, who is the Irish barrister who is part of the team who is leading the legal attack on the British government, on the Secretary of State, leading the legal case to proscribe terrorist organisation. That includes doctors, nurses, police officers, because Hamas is in fact the entire government of Gaza. It's absurd and obscene to claim that the entire government, the entire structure, the whole system is a terrorist entity. And it actually has led to, it's contributed to the genocide, because it makes the claim that any target is legitimate. And so they are leading this cause, leading this legal fight against the government, and they're very likely to succeed. The fact that Palestine Action, this is just totally shameful, completely shameful, and what it is they are using their power to try and deconstruct our democracy. The Home Secretary doesn't have to have any vote or any agreement by an organisation. They're coming after Pal Action. Shame, totally shameful. What is her justification? How can she say that that's a democratic process? And how can she possibly justify our proud leadership in Pal Action. Those leaders, I speak of every single one of them, that are an essential part of our ecology of protest. How many people have been terrorised by Pal Action? Can we find a single person anywhere in this country who can claim that they have been made afraid by Pal Action? By people climbing on roofs, by people spraying paint into landed jets that are going nowhere. These people are standing up for the law. They are trying to prevent genocide. They are taking lawful action, which was once easy to defend in a British court. Under, I will wrap up. Under the legal framework that you are committing a lesser crime to prevent a greater one.
Okay.
The defence of necessity. Thank you, Oscar.
What
happened to that law? They scrapped it. Why? Because they are the criminals. So we're going to keep fighting.
Shut up.
Pal Action, we love you guys. We're proud of you. Wherever you are, we are behind you. The whole movement is behind you. You know that. And we're all going to we are free until the entire
update from a sister in the climate justice movement. Just heard about Palestine Action. There are other climate activists in prison, many people, and many young people, in fact. And this brave young woman has written from prison. She said she got a longer sentence because the judge was asking her to basically apologize.
Yeah, the order for arrest went out for this girl at Penrose Avenue at 6 AM on Tuesday morning.
Is she not arrested already?
No. But they're expecting her to be up in Sheffield on Saturday. No, on Tuesday, but she didn't show up.
Oh right, so she might turn up on Saturday.
She really
I'll show you a picture of her. If I can find it now.
And said it was horrific that so many children in Gaza are suffering starvation.
Is it on Facebook? No. What's that? I've got so many WhatsApp pictures and I need to delete.
Because one of the biggest threats to the planet and to the climate is the war. And they want war not only to plunder, but also to
And not the most up-to-date one.
steal our resources and to give it to billionaires. And we say no. And that's what we stand.
Where's the most up-to-date one on my Twitter? I deleted them all off Twitter.
And we thank God again for this picket because it's a point where we can come together every week and share news and strengthen ourselves. So thank you.
I don't know where it is. I sent it to somebody.
For being here with us and supporting this picket as we go on 86 weeks and counting of being here. Now I just want to turn it over to Pete, a fellow anti-Zionist Jew, to say a couple words.
Just a very quick update of Pal Action. Put this in your diary, the 30th of June, which is a Monday, there's a court hearing at Woolwich Crown Court, which is right next to Belmarsh Prison. It's a pre-trial hearing for some of the Milton 18. And what that pre-trial hearing is about is they're going to decide what kind of defence are the their motivations. So, 30th of June is Monday week outside Woolwich Crown Court. It's very easy to get to. You take a bus from central Woolwich. I think it's a 274, something like that.
there's a bus every 5 minutes. Starting, we're going to be there from 9:30 in the morning. PAL Action have promised plenty of activities until 1 o'clock. From 1 o'clock, the action is going to be managed by another organisation called Defend Our Juries, whom I'm sure most people here have heard of. It's going to be a very dignified lie down or sitting, something like that, until 4 in the
That's Shabnam.
Oh, is,
Okay,
is she here now?
No, she isn't here yet. No, but
Does she still have the ring?
yeah.
Alright, if I see her tomorrow, we'll do it.
As we wind this up, I want
If you need a case of F, let me know.
We'll be able to find it.
Yeah.
Fill in your name and we'll be able to find it.
The first thing I wanted to say is,
But make sure it's up at a counter so I
you
can
know, the
film it.
repression that we
I
see
need the
coming down
footage
on
for
us
people that want it.
all over the world is a direct result of the size
This is the best spot where I'm going to get blocked.
internationally. It is because of how scared they are of us that they are as brutal as they are. And it's important to keep that in mind. And one of the things I said in Vienna, defeated the might of the American state. And let me tell you, this movement internationally is even bigger than that war was, and we are going to win! That we will win! I believe that we will win! All right. The other thing I thought I want to leave you with, well, first, we're not going to march today. We're going to encourage, because it's quite late, but we encourage everybody who can to go across the river and join the people over there, the Vigil.
Sorry, if Mona's here. Okay, Mona's gone, but right across the bridge, there's a nightly vigil, 7 to 9, for St. Thomas Hospital, and for her son, who's on hunger strike in Egypt. So please come.
Thought, but Palestinians who said, we are not freeing Gaza. Gaza is freeing us. Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine!
I'll just leave us with some chants as we finish up. When Palestine is under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back! When Gaza is under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! End the genocide!
Right, guys, probably wrap this up soon and go back up for a train.
Decolonize! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine!
Okay, I guess everybody knows there's a big march tomorrow. We're going to go along with and march with the Jewish contingent under the IJAN banner. And I don't know where the meeting place is, but it will.
Actually, it's on the WhatsApp if you want to see it, but if anybody doesn't have the WhatsApp, the meeting place for the Jewish bloc is going to be in Russell Square, so it's different from before, on the southwest corner by Montague Street.
And we're going to march over to St. Thomas Hospital outside the Coca Memorial Wall. It's going to be, we march over the bridge, just the first race. So yeah, we'll see you there. Free, free! Free, free!
Guys, shall we go or not go? Take your pick. I don't think I will go.
From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. From the sea to the river, Palestine.
What time are you guys on the ground?
I don't know, we start at 9 o'clock in the morning.
No, I thought we were earlier.
Well, no, we're early because we've got to get in, do breakfast and stuff.
Oh,
Thank you guys so much for turning up here to
No
our
worries.
You will.
And we're outside Parliament every single weekday.
So, I said it to Vicky earlier, I am probably going to stop with the Palestine side and then jump on a train before you guys set off. I get up in the counter pen to film you guys go past.
Are you, is it Stop the Hate?
Yeah.
Is that going to be then on the, what is it, the street?
No, but their location has changed.
Oh, has it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they like to keep us on our toes.
Yeah.
Variety is spice of life.
Where is it?
I don't know. I will find out. But let me turn this off and I'll talk to you. Guys, I'm ending the live here. And be warned.